girl Finithia with Live Intentionally, coming at you with a brand new video. How are you doing today? Let's get into it. All right. So, welcome to Live Intentionally with Finithia. So we're going to go ahead and jump right on into today's video. All right. So if you guys were with me last week, I talked all about how I finished 75 hard. So the 75 hard challenge, really quickly, that's where you follow these several principles where you follow a diet. You do 2 workouts a day. One has to be outside, no alcohol. You have to drink a gallon of water every day. You have to take progress pictures every day. Can I have a cheat meal? And you have to read 10 pages of a book every single day for 75 days. If you mess up, you got to start back from the beginning. Okay. The program was created by a guy named Andy Frisella. I'll tell y'all now, it's totally free. I do encourage everyone to give it a try. Give it a try. Check with your doctor first, because I'm not a doctor or a nutritionist or any of the above. I'm just Finithia sharing her life's journey with you. But anyhow, I finished 75 hard, and go back to last week's video if you want to know more about why I did it and kind of a little bit of the process. So I'm going to tell you guys today, we're going to talk about how in the world did I do 75 hard? And I will start out by saying the reason I'm saying how did I do 75 hard and how did I complete 75 hard? I'm saying that because I have literally started and stopped almost every diet that I've ever been on. So this is why I'm telling you, we're going to talk about how I completed 75 hard and how you can complete 75 hard or any other thing that is hard in your life. And I'm going to tell a story that's not even about 75 hard per se, but it'll give you some insight into how I accomplished this big thing. Just a little backstory for me in 75 hard. When I saw a young lady doing it last year, I said she was crazy, and I said I would never do that thing. I would never do. That's nonsense. Why would I ever do that? And then I found myself this year needing to do something, and 75 hard was it. So I'm going to talk to you guys today about the position you have to take to make a change. So I know and let me go back, because I got to give credit to my Lord and Savior. Yes, I do. Because in my devotion time is really when God was speaking to me about how I did this, and this is why I need to share it with you guys. So what I understood was I had to be different. I had to humble myself. I had to take a position that kind of like I bowed down to what needed to be done. Okay. And what that means is, when I say bow down to what needed to be done, you think about all the things that rule your life when you're in a place that you don't really want to be. So for me, it was stress eating. Whenever I got stressed, or I would just eat candy and candy and candy, or being bored and just eating sweet stuff and just overindulging in all the things that are not good. But guess what? They were the ruler of my world. Okay. They were the ruler of my world. And because they were the ruler of my world and I needed to make a change, I had to humble myself in order to make that change. And when I did that, that started to make me take an internal look at myself. When I said, okay, I can't let this food rule me. So if I want to change, I have to bow down to the change that's about to occur. And the only way for you to grow, you got to start from a low spot. You can't already be up here talking about I'm growing. You're already big, okay? The only way for you to grow is to humble yourself, lower your position, and then you'll start to grow. So that's what happened to me. That's what I had to do. So I'm going to tell you a little story about humbling myself that has nothing to do with losing weight. Okay. So a couple of years ago, I really had a desire to work on my credit. Okay. let me just go back. My credit has always like kind of like embarrassed me. Okay. And I was very embarrassed about my credit situation. And I was so fearful to address it that I never even looked at my credit. Like when I say like, I didn't look at it. I would barely Credit Karma sometimes I would use, but what we all have learned that is not your accurate score. But I was definitely terrified to look at my credit because I was so afraid of what it looked like. And the reason that I was afraid is because it wasn't me. Okay, so it didn't represent me. I didn't feel that the number that I thought I would see was a representation of me. I feel like I'm a person of integrity, a person of good character, a person who does want people to look at her and see leadership and see awesome dynamic qualities about this is how I want people to view me. I want people to see awesome dynamic qualities. And I knew my credit did not meet who I was. It was not there. So for years, like literally have been afraid to even look at it. But I wanted to change so bad. So I started to really think about it, was on my mind. So this is how you know when a change needs to be made in your life, because it's on your mind. It's like a nag in your brain, like you have to change something. If it's weighing you down, I had a pastor tell me one time, he told the congregation that if something is burdening you, then that's your ministry. That's the thing you're supposed to do something about. So when it came to my credit, it was burdening me, like always thinking about it. So I knew that was God saying to me, girl, get your head out of the sand and do something about it. So I had to humble myself. I had to stop letting fear rule me, and I had to humble myself, and I had to look at it. And before I looked at it, the picture that I had of myself and of my credit score was horrible. Okay. So when fear was ruling, when fear was the king of my world for that thing, I thought it was the lowest score known to mankind. I thought that anytime I went to get my credit pulled, people were laughing at me. I thought horrible about myself. I thought that I'm displaying a part of me that I would never want to display. I thought very poorly of myself because of that thing, because of how I viewed my credit, but not even because of how I honestly viewed my credit. It's because of how I fearfully viewed my credit. So after thinking about how I need to change, like I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. Okay. So this is how I did 75 hard. I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I had to humble myself, and I opened my phone and I went to Credit Karma. And when I went to Credit Karma, I said, this number is not as bad as I thought it was. That was not good. So don't even think it was an amazing number. It wasn't as bad as I had constantly, that fear allowed the fear to tell myself that it was. But it needed work. But several things happened when I humbled myself. Okay. The first thing that happened is when I saw the true number, my mind started to change. My mind said, like I just said, oh my gosh, like it's not that bad. It's not horrible. It changed in that way. Second thing it said was, I can work on this. I can do this. I can fix this. I just need the right tools. My mind is changing. I just need the right tools. I need someone to teach me. So literally, I asked my former principal who was working with credit. He met with me, told me some tips of the trade. And then on social media, thank God for the people who share things on social media, because then I found people who were experts in the subject matter. And you know what? I found real life people who were not necessarily experts, who went to school or learned it through their career, but they learned it through real life. And I followed these people and I listened and I learned. So part of my mind starting to change was listening and diving deep into what other people were saying, that and how they did it, their path, what they did to improve their credit. And so once I started to dive in and my mind started to change and I started to listen to these people, my belief barrier started to change. Now I'm like, I really can do something about my credit. I really can. If I follow these steps that I've been taught, I really can start to move the meter. And then guess what I did? I acted upon what I started to believe. And when I acted upon what I started to believe, guess what I saw? I saw that number increase, 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 increase. Now, this whole entire time that this is happening, one of the biggest dreams that I've ever had for my family was for us to buy a home. We have been renting for a very long time, and I just wanted to own a home for my kids' sake, for my family's sake. And it was like a dream, a wish, but deep down inside, I was like afraid to look at my credit. And I know you need your credit to buy a home. And I was fearful that that dream was never going to come to fruition because I was letting fear rule my life. Okay, so my mindset started to change. My belief barrier started to change. And now I'm acting upon it and I'm seeing the fruit of my labor. I'm actually seeing my credit score increase. And this was over probably a 2.5 year span that I focused. I stopped making like no late payments, no this, no not paying a bill. Like everything became like, I became hyper focused. No charging up that credit card, no doing this, no doing that. I'm going to cut the cord. I tracked my credit score every single month, tracked it by using my FICO score. I tracked every single month. I was on my credit score like every day almost because I needed that number to move, and my belief barrier had gotten so big that the fear that I used to have was no longer there. It was no longer there anymore. And what happened in a 2.5 year span, 2.5 to 3 year span is my credit score started to increase. My credit limits started to increase. And then we were able to buy our first home. So that is amazing. The only way that we were going to see that thing come to pass was I had to humble myself and say, I need to change. And I had to humble myself to the change that I didn't even know exactly what it was going to look like. I had to humble myself to accept the change, to accept the process, to accept the journey, and to reject the fear that had ruled over my life. That's what I had to do. And that's what I did. And that is how that situation changed. That is also how I decided I need to change my body. I need to change my physical body. I need to change my mindset and how I think about my physical body and how I think about physical activity and how I think about food. I need to change my mindset. Those same steps are the same steps that I took to complete 75 Hard this summer. This summer too. Summertime is hard for me because I work in education. That's when we get to travel. That's when we get to do all the things. I was traveling. I went up to New England and y'all, I ate salad and I ate vegetables instead of eating a bunch of pizza and pasta. And did I feel like deprived? No, I did not feel deprived. I felt very proud of myself and very willing to eat those vegetables and those fruits because I knew I had a goal. So how did I finish 75 Hard? It was nagging my mind to do something. I had to humble myself and I had to say, I have to do something different. I have to do something different. I had to humble myself to this process that I didn't even know what it would look like, okay? And then once I humbled myself, I started to change my mind. I said, let me dive deep. Let me see what other people are saying about this program. Let me see what I can do. Started to change my mind. My belief barrier started to change. I can do this. I can do this. I said, if I just take it one step at a time, one day at a time. I did not allow myself to think about the 75th day until I got to the 75th day. I thought about day 1 on day 1, day 2 on day 2, day 3 on day 3, and so on and so forth. I never thought about the day ahead. Okay? Never, ever, ever, because I knew I just needed to focus on where I was at that moment. So every day that I took those actions, my belief barrier grew. So day 5 is bigger. Day 6 is even bigger. By day 20, it's huge. By day 30, it's even bigger. By day 40, even though I'm tired and ready to throw the towel in, my belief is saying, you've made it 40 days, you got 35 more to go. You can do this. You can do this. You can absolutely do this. So I thought about day 40, thought about day 41, day 42, day 43. And that is how I was able to complete 75 hard. My actions were there every single day. I showed up for myself every single day. That is how I finished 75 hard. So when you are faced with something in life that's nagging your brain and you think, I have to change, I have to do something, the first step is to humble yourself to the change. Humble yourself to the thing. Humble yourself to accept the process. Even though you don't know what it looks like, I can guarantee you that the other side is always going to be better than where you are if that's not where you're supposed to be. Last thing I'm going to say is this. As I was writing this morning and thinking about all these things and humbling yourself, and God was depositing and having me drop it down on paper, He gave me this. Babies. Think about babies. The first 9 months of a baby's life is in the mama's womb. Okay? How is that baby getting life? Through an umbilical cord, through the cord that gives the baby all the nutrients from the mama to the baby. The mama's womb makes room for the baby, right? Our bodies change so that the baby has space to grow, has the room to grow. And it's all attached. All of this stuff is happening through this very important umbilical cord, right? But when the baby is born, the doctors have to help the baby humble itself to start its growth journey in this new world, because the baby can no longer be attached to the mama and grow at the same time. So what has to happen? The umbilical cord has to be cut. The only way for the baby to start to grow and thrive in its now open earth environment is for that umbilical cord to be cut. So in essence, the baby has to humble itself to the new process, right? And think of the way for them to thrive and survive and grow in this new world is to detach themselves from their comfort zone, from their mom. So most of the things that we do, the fears that we have, the bad habits that we have, those are our comfort zones. Those are the things that we run to. Just watch. When you start to change, you'll try to run back to your comfort zone easily. When you're in a comfort zone, it's very hard to let it go, right? Because we're comfortable. We are cozy. We know that space, right? To make a change, though, you have to start to reject your comfort zone and humble yourself to change. And that's what I want to leave you guys with. That's how I finished 75 hard. I had to humble myself and accept the process. I had to humble myself and accept the change that I was going to have to go through in order to finish and complete that program. And it wasn't about completing the program. It was about completing something for me. That's how I completed 75 hard after failing repeatedly at so many attempts to lose weight. That's how I finished. So I hope that this encouraged you. Hope this encouraged you. Remember, when you humble yourself, your mindset will start to change. When your mindset starts to change, your belief barrier will start to grow. And then those action steps, your dreams are going to come true when you start to act upon them. But you have to humble yourself first. All right. I hope this helps you. I hope this is of value to you. And if it is, would you please comment? Would you please like? Would you please subscribe? And would you please share this with someone that you love? Peace out.